Our minds are like a vast and ancient forest, sculpted by a lifetime of learning and adaptation. From our earliest experiences, from the bedrock of our nature and the lessons of our nurture, pathways begin to form. These become our ingrained roots of thought, emotion and action. Neural pathways, well worn, efficient and reinforced by every journey that's successfully taken. These deeply etched neural pathways become our trusted defaults to navigate the overwhelming forest of information and decisions we face daily. Our brain relies on them as mental shortcuts, powerful heuristics. These shortcuts allow us to process the world rapidly, to make sense of complexity amidst a storm of information, and to act decisively based on past success. They are essential. And so, when the landscape around us changes, when new challenges emerge or new destinations are called for, our instinct is to trust these old, reliable paths. They feel safe, familiar, easy. Even when presented with a new map, logical arguments, data, reports showing a different way, our initial reaction can be hesitant. The new information doesn't always immediately align with our deeply ingrained experience. Often the old pathway's powerful pull, born from past successes, overrides the new data. Familiarity feels safe and easy and proven. Why? Because that track has worked before. We ignore the new insight and metaphorically put it into our back pocket. But this is where our incredible efficiency can become a trap. When the context shifts, a well-worn heuristic can become a troublesome bias, filtering our perception, causing us to miss vital new information, or to force old solutions onto new problems. We become fixed in our frame, struggling to realise the relevance of new data, because the old pathway screams loudest. Understanding this, how our minds naturally use these shortcuts, is the first step. When we become aware of our potential biases, we start to create an openness to new insights, a readiness to explore beyond the familiar. So, how do we truly break free when the old path is failing? Simply knowing it's not working isn't always enough. Often it takes a jolt, a stimulus so powerful it interrupts our autopilot, bypasses the old heuristic, and forces a moment of profound re-evaluation. This might be a powerful new insight, a moment of clarity, perhaps revealed by seeing our system through a completely new lens, that makes us say, this is not normal. The old path is no longer serving us, or there's a new possibility I never saw. This jolt is the key. It cracks open the door to new thinking, the first spark of a new neural connection, actively training our brain to be more open. But this new opening, this new awareness, is just the beginning. Forging a new pathway in the mind, like in a forest, requires conscious, deliberate effort. The first steps are always the hardest. It demands stepping away from the familiar, embracing uncertainty, and a willingness to do things differently. Even when it feels awkward or inefficient at first, this is where new neural connections begin to tentatively form, fragile yet full of potential. A fragile new path, a fledgling neural connection, needs consistent nurturing to survive and strengthen. This isn't a one-time event, it's a process. This is where hands-on experience, focused effort, and practical application become vital, moving beyond theory into actually doing. Each time we successfully apply a new behaviour, each time we practice a new way of thinking and see a positive result, we reinforce that new pathway. It's like walking that new trail again and again, clearing it, making it more defined, more reliable. Consistent support, coaching, and creating an environment where it's safe to practice and refine these new routes are essential to this nurturing process, effectively training our brains for new, more effective defaults. Over time, with this consistent nurturing and successful application, these new neural pathways become strong, resilient, and eventually our new preferred default for that particular context. The old path, the old heuristic that once dominated, naturally loses its immediate grip. It becomes just one option amongst others, not an automatic response. This is sustainable behaviour change, not the erasure of the old, but the deliberate creation and strengthening of new, more adaptive ways of thinking, seeing and acting. New mental motorways truly fit for today's evolving landscape. By understanding how our minds work, by recognising our biases and the power of our ingrained pathways, we can consciously choose to seek out new stimuli and meticulously nurture new connections. We effectively train our brains not just for new habits, but for a greater ongoing openness to change itself. It's a journey from the uncharted mind to a recharted one, continuously opening up new possibilities for ourselves, our teams and our organisations. So what have we learned about navigating the pathways to real change? Firstly, understand this. Our brains are wired for efficiency, not for easy disruption. Expecting deep-seated behaviours to shift with just a piece of new information, a logical report, or a simple request often leads to frustration. Now we understand why. Sustainable change isn't accidental. It requires two crucial elements. One, the insight shock. This is the catalyst, that powerful "this is not normal" moment. It must be significant enough to interrupt the old, automatic pathways. And critically, this insight needs to resonate deeply, often by being framed in the language and context of those we seek to influence. 2. Patient nurturing of the new pathway. Once that mental door is opened, the new, fragile connection must be consistently reinforced. This isn't achieved through talk alone. It requires dedicated training, hands-on practice, supportive coaching, and the experience of actually doing the work differently, repeatedly, and until that new way of thinking and behaving becomes strong enough to thrive on its own. Real change is a process of both illumination and cultivation. Understand the mind and you will unlock the path to lasting transformation.